A creepy experience in Boston. A few years ago, I had just moved to Boston. It was March, and finding a decent place to stay was proving to be a nightmare. A friend of mine, Ryan, and I decided to room together while he waited for a raise in his salary. For the time being, we ended up crashing at another friend's place, a rented two-bedroom apartment in a quiet neighborhood. Everything seemed fine the first day. On the second evening, Ryan had plans to hang out with some friends and left, saying he'd be back by 9 p.m. Around 7 p.m., I was alone, watching movies on my laptop. Hunger struck, so I made some noodles and grabbed a chocolate bar. Returning to the room, I suddenly noticed the lights flickering and dimming. The windows were shut tight, so I went over to open one for some air. That's when things got weird. My phone started buzzing on the bedside table, even though I distinctly remember turning it off earlier. Confused, I walked toward it, but before I could pick it up, the lights went out completely. A chill ran down my spine as I felt someone standing behind me. I didn't dare to turn around. My eyes slowly adjusted to the darkness. Trying to stay calm, I muttered to myself, "Breathe in and out," and decided to leave the room. But the silence was unnerving. I could hear my own heartbeat echoing in my ears. Reaching the kitchen, I found a candle and lit it, though my hands were trembling. I spent the rest of the night in discomfort, desperately waiting for Ryan to return. When he finally did, I couldn't shake off the eerie feeling that something wasn't right. The next morning, while we were making breakfast, I stood near the window and glanced at the house across the street. An older couple, likely in their mid-50s, stood on their balcony, staring directly at us. Their constant watchful presence gave me the creeps, but I shrugged it off. Later that day, as Ryan was washing his bike outside, I casually read the nameplate on the neighboring house. The names, written in some old lettering style, sounded familiar: David and Laura Henson. When I mentioned the names to Ryan, his expression changed instantly. His face turned pale, and he seemed deeply disturbed. That night, he insisted we pack up and leave. It wasn't until we moved into a new apartment that he explained everything. The night he was out with friends, Ryan had learned about a tragic incident that had taken place in the very house we were staying in. Years ago, a couple named David and Laura had lived there. After a heated argument one evening, Laura had taken her own life before David returned home. Ryan hadn't believed in the supernatural until that moment. What terrified him the most was how I had known their names, David and Laura, when I had no way of knowing about the incident. He thought I might have been possessed or influenced by something in that house. To make matters worse, our friends who had recommended the place confessed they had also experienced a strange sensation of being watched, but chose to ignore it. It seemed no one wanted to pay more for another house, even if it came with an unsettling history. To this day, I can't explain how I knew those names, but I'll never forget that house or the oppressive feeling of being watched. Some things I've come to believe are better left unexplored. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Your support helps me create more amazing videos and brings us one step closer to monetizing the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's grow this community together. Also, leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts and what you'd like to see next. Your feedback means the world to me and helps improve the content for everyone.